Bring mine in now. Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to GRL. It is the season finale. It has been a fantastic year's worth of racing in the Grand Tech Racing League, but it is all going to come to an end on F123 after this race here this evening. It's been a great old season. We already have our drivers champion, but we've still got a lot more to decide. My name, as always, is Darren Thacker, joined in the commentary booth once again by the ever wonderful Ashley. And Ashley, it's been a great season, hasn't it? We're into the final race, the traditional final race here at Interlagos, the name of the track there. But a lot to play for, and obviously 30 laps of chaos that are going to befall us.
Yeah, definitely plenty to play for here this evening, and I think it should be me welcoming you back, Dara, as I've been doing this solo the last couple of weeks. It's been quite lonesome here in the commentary lounge, but I'm very happy you're back for the last one here this evening. And yeah, there is still a lot to play for out there. I've got Atom busy as ever. He sent me a list of all the things I can talk about this evening. I'm sure I'll pick and choose some of them as the evening progresses, but there are still a few battles out there happening, such as the fight for the constructors between I believe it's Haas and Williams. Just to double check, yes, Haas and Williams, they're fighting out at the top, and I think there's even still a battle on for P4 in this championship to see who can confirm that one as well. But yeah, it's still all happening, and yeah, comes all down to this, the final race of the season.
It does, and Welshak, he's not too fussed because, of course, he's won that Drivers' Championship. He's going to start near the back of the field, so we'll have to see how he can recover from that. AERT and their drivers, of course, they've got more drivers than Iceland has people in it. We've got 3 of them in the top 4. Looks like they're getting some races at some point because they might get pretty bored with their 70-strong team, whatever it is now. We've got some interesting times in so far. Plains is going to be giving a tow maybe to someone. Was that ART Jake? I feel like it was there. It's not going to be Nardo. Yeah, it was ART Jake that he was giving a tow to. So, not teamwork officially, but some teamwork there. Takubi goes P3, but I mean, a 7.5 is a good old banker time, but of course the times aren't too varied as you'd expect around here.
Yeah, no, I expect everyone to really be... I mean, to be honest, I would really think, and like to think, the whole grid will probably be within about half a second of each other. It's that competitive at this circuit. I do not know what's going on here. I'm actually still on board with Exotic Plains, and he's got that Aston Martin behind him. And, oh, they've touched. I don't know what's happening here, to be honest, Dara, but the qualifying itself, yeah, I would like to think everyone should be within about half a second of one another. He's all over the road here, is Exotic Plains. He's on the grass. He's finally out the way of that Aston Martin. I don't know what is going on there, but nonetheless, we move forward and qualifying continues. Oh, he's almost lost it there as well. But yeah, Blade setting the benchmark as he normally does, and I think B Ford is currently in the pits, not set a lap time. He's actually on his out now, but not set a lap time yet. Interesting to see where he'll end up. And Welsh Jack, for clarification, has a qualifying ban, so he will start regardless at the back of the grid.
Yeah, but I don't think he'll be too concerned. I mean, it's always nice to have a qualifying ban when you've already won the title. It's like getting a 5-point deduction when you're winning the league by 30 points, isn't it, really? So he won't be too fast. He'll start near the back, but of course, Brazil, the track where you can definitely work your way through the order. Lele in the Red Bull, he's going to set his first flying lap of the day, and it's looking quick. And it is quick, 7.58, 600ths behind the fastest time so far. I guarantee you that Plains and Jake will be in a party together and probably having a bit of a giggle, but they are doing that. B-Ford, as you mentioned, onto his outlap. He really has the freedom of this circuit because there's only 5 cars out on track at the moment.
Yeah, not many out there, but the laps, well, most of them have set their laps, so we're in the sort of break in between. So I'd imagine B-Ford probably is only going to get 2 runs at it this evening, like proper actual fast flying laps to see where he can put that Mercedes for one final time. His teammate Rob Kelly up in 9th. And of course, these guys, I don't think they've really got much battling for it, but maybe B-Ford will want to help Rob Kelly try and secure that 4th in the championship. Not sure, maybe not, but nonetheless, they'll certainly give it their all right to the bitter end, as we do know they like to do that. Through the middle sector is B4 now, keeping it nicely tucked into the apexes, hugging it very closely indeed, as we are coming up to a yellow section, but that doesn't really make much of a difference to the esports side of things here. And then now the final proper corner of the circuit, all important exit, because it does lead you onto the start-finish straight, and it is flat out from here on up to the line. What can B4 do for his first flying run?
Yeah, let's see what the time's going to be. I think it's going to be near the front and a little bit slow. I mean, it's a 18001, which is almost the most satisfying of lap times, which of course is 1 in 1,000. But 4,000 behind his teammate, you can't really split those two Mercedes cars. But B4 less than a half second off the blades, and yet down in 10th position at the moment. So he'll be looking for more, I'm sure of that. Atom has invalidated his lap time. He will not be improving on his run. Bourbon Boy is on his lap, but I feel like there are maybe another couple of drivers, Rob Kelly being one of those. And yes, he's not. He's slowing down. Must have made a mistake somewhere on his lap. So we will follow with Bourbon Boy if he comes round towards Vico de Pato. At turn 10, there's Az, I think, coming to the line, possibly his Alpine. No, it could have been Atom. Regardless, Bourbon Boy will be next. It's going to be an indicative lap time, I think.
Yeah, let's see what it's going to be as he is now running up the hill to the start-finish line. Where's he going to put that Ferrari for his provisional lap? Just over 8 minutes left to go in this qualifying session. Clock always counted down, obviously. He puts it into 7th place, just over a 10th behind his teammate AERT Jordan. And I found it here, Darragh. Here's one of the stats that Atom decided to give me, very thankfully. I've got BRT Jordan, BRT Jobbo, Partick and Dom being the only one that I can't see on that timing screen. But the 4 of them, or should I say 3 at this point, they're all fighting for the P10 in the championship. So should one of them get a nice podium, that could cement it for them. But I don't think they're going to be too worried about it, being that it is only for P10. But it may help with their prospects for next year with when it comes around to being picked for teams. So who knows? It even being, the confirmation of P4, which Rob Kelly is fighting for, obviously, that may help him with his sort of team picking for next year. Maybe he's a bit more sought after than somebody else. But it's a long way to the next game comes out. Still got the rest of the month left to go, and it is a completely different kettle of fish by the time we get there. Let's just enjoy this last one whilst we still can.
Yeah, I mean, we can only pray that F124 is going to be a little bit better, can't we? Blades goes fastest, just about improving, barely an improvement for him, but it all does count. Jake, a couple of tenth improvement to put himself up into P8. Now, I mean, the top 12 are within half a second of each other, just showing how close it is. Rob Kelly is going to peel his way into the pit lane, so not an improvement for him. Gibson is not improving either. So who is improving? ART Owen is coming into the pit lane, was improving, but not enough for him to want to finish that lap. We've got, I think this is going to be Lele, might be improving, but we're kind of in this waiting phase for the final runs, aren't we?
Yeah, it's that awkward middle phase where you're just sitting around kicking a can. Lele is actually up on his lap time, but it's only 41 hundredths of a second, so it's not much at all. That would improve him by actually 2 positions. That is how tight it is at the top here this evening. He's going to finish the run. What's it going to be as he gets to the line? How much does he improve by? He's through. Yeah, look at that. He's almost taken provisional pole away from Blade there. So actually he improved just a little bit more in that final sector, and very close, nipping at the heels of that Haas car, almost on provisional pole. Good lap from Lele.
Yeah, and Takubi's about 800s up himself, so he might join the club on the 1 minute 7.5s. He'd become the 5th driver there. So let's see if he can do it. Running up to the line, depends what his last sector was in his last lap, and he does go into P3 just in front of Nardo and Az. So an incredibly tight top 5, because the top 5 are within half a tenth of each other, which is fantastic to see. We always love these close qualifying sessions. Az will be next. Not too sure how much he is up by on his time, but let's see what the McLaren can do on his run to the line. 400 puts him up 2 positions, but what can he do? Jobber goes up into 7th, and he's only a tenth and a half off the pole, yet he's 7th. It's insane.
Yeah, this is what we were talking about just a short moment ago, and like I was really hoping and expecting, that qualifying is so close. It really does come down to the minutest of margins between each of the drivers out there. So even if you are only improving by what appears to be almost nothing, a blink of an eye, half a tenth, you could actually see yourself gain sort of 3 or 4 positions. It is that jam-packed in the middle there. The only person still not yet to set a time though, and he's now currently on his outlap, and that's AMS Partick, down in 20th, but we should see him rise a bit further up than that once he finishes his flying run. But he's only got one chance to do it, so it's make or break for him at this point.
Yeah, I mean, let's see how this one goes. And Party just needs to get a time on the board to gain 4 positions, but it's not the most arduous of tasks, but it can be difficult to keep it valid. Here you think through the centre S's, it's difficult just to keep it on the track. Also at turn 4, you can drift a little bit wide. So you've got to be careful around Interlagos. It's a place where you can see warnings picked up. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. Just see how Partick can do. He's got the track to himself. There will be, and that might be Godwin. Yeah, Godwin coming out of the pit lane. But apart from that, Partick's got the track to himself.
Yeah, he certainly does. Here we go. I'll tell you, we'll ride on board with him then, and we'll give you the lowdown through the centre S's into turn number 1. Keeps it nice and tucked, sets it all up for the exit of 2, and through number 3 he goes for this all-important sort of first straight of the circuit, running down towards turn number 4, late on the brakes as he dares, clips the apex rather nicely, uses as much runoff as he can as well. Then you're climbing back up the hill through 5 and into 6 and 7 here, the middle part of the circuit, where it gets nice, tight and twisty. Can run cars side by side here as well. It enables some brilliant overtaking opportunities and action in that sense, as the corners are quite nicely banked, if I do say so myself. In through another right hander, down the hill once again, keeping everything. He's looking really nice and neat actually this lap so far, although I think he has backed out of it. Through the final corner. Yeah, I think he might be going for it now, Darryl. What do you think?
Yeah, he doesn't really have a choice, does he? He's got to go for it realistically. He's got a full tank of battery as well, so this should be the run for AMS Partick. Again, he will still be the first driver on the run, so he's been getting a lot of airtime, but really, because he's been the next driver to finish a lap time for quite a while, he's going to have a little bit more traffic on this lap. Starting with the Red Bull just coming out of the pit lane now, but it looks like he's cleared very easily indeed. And with everyone now peeling out of the pit lane, Partick's first sector of 16.9.
Oh, it's coming up as purple on my screen, and obviously this game known for its accuracy, of course. I can't say if that's real or not, but it looks as though it's been pretty quick in that first sector. Maybe we can still hop on board here for the middle. I did get up the stat though, Dara. Between the Haas and the Williams, there's only 17 points. Williams are ahead on 398, and Haas are in second on 381. So that will be a very interesting battle to the end here. Of course, Gibson and Welsh Jack. Well, Gibson down in 14th, Welsh Jack serving that quali ban, whilst the Haas duo are in first and third. They've got it all to do, but they're looking to be very much in the driver's seat. Here comes Partick across the line. Now, what's it going to be?
This looks quick, actually. Partick goes, maybe I was just being a little bit optimistic, 7.9. Again, he's only 4 tenths off a pole, but he's down in P11. So tough to take for him, but I'm sure he will come back stronger. Next, I think, will be it'll be Bourbon Boy coming around the final couple of corners. He's 2.5 tenths up here. This could really challenge from the Ferrari driver, which just shows you how much you can jump a couple of tenths, a quarter of a second, which you can improve on by in the final on, I should say. Could be all it takes. Up to the line now, Bourbon will fly. Is this going to be good enough for provisional pole? No. But he now is the 6th driver on a 1 minute 7.5. If he found another 700 there, he'd be on provisional pole.
Yeah, this is it. Back to it again. It's so tight at the top. As Nardo now takes provisional pole. He's taken it by 3 tenths of a second. Where did that lap come from? He's been hiding that one all evening long so far. My word, what a lap from the man at Aston Martin. Absolutely blitzed the field with that one. Who's going to be next across the line? Darius going to be one of the, I think it's the sister Aston Martin, AERT Jake, as he gets it a little bit squirrely out of the final corner and through well, I say final corner, the final real corner in my opinion, and then it's flat out to the line. I think he might be the first to finish qualifying. He is, and then he goes up to 7th.
Yeah, and that was Takubi there crossing the line. Blades, I think he just stayed in the pit lanes. He will stay P3. We've got Lele to the line. He stays P4. He can't improve. The two Alfa Romeos. Owen can't quite beat Nardo, even with the tow from Godwin. So he stays exactly where he is. JW Gibson's going to run up to the line now. He's nearly 3 tenths up, but he's quite a bit more than that. In the end, nearly half a second of an improvement. Slots into P11. Then we've got RMB Ford. He needs a good time. Can only go into P10, 1,000th ahead of Jobbo. So he's lucky to do that. Jobbo then can't improve in behind. There is some incident back there with AERT Jordan, but it won't matter in the end. Ads won't improve. Neither will Bourbon Boy. And in the end, it is going to be Nardo who takes pole position. But the top 13 are within half a second. And from second down to 13th, it's just about 3/10 of a second.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought, was really expecting as well. So my predictions seem to pretty much come true. The exclamation that you would have heard in between that, apologies, Dara, it was the Ferrari was facing sideways, and the driver I switched on board to literally went through them. As I switched on board, I thought we were about to have a humongous accident right at the end of qualifying. Luckily, it ghosted in time, but nonetheless, there we go. Qualifying done and dusted. Nardo takes pole position and takes it by quite some margin as well.
Yes, he does. I mean, in the 1.6 tenths, very, very comfortable for him, especially when you're looking at the amount of drivers on 107.5s and 6s. Yeah, 4th down to 13th. Well, that's at 1.8 tenths, incredibly close. Nardo and Owen are your front row. QB and Blaze, third and fourth for Haas, going to pick up all the points they can. Lele and Az, 5th, 6th. Then Bourbon, Jake Jordan, and Beeford in the top 10. Jobbo, Gibson, Godwin, Partick, and Rob Kelly, top 15. And then your bottom 5, Atom. And then the Voidance at the time, Plains, Welsh, Jack, Tonio, and Cont. But there's your grid for this 36-lap race. 36 laps left of the season, and it's a little bit overcast, actually.
It is. I wonder if we're going to get rain, and I will say that Atom did tell me earlier the last 2 times, and I'll double check it now for you, but I'm pretty sure the last 2 times we've raced here at Brazil, we've had a wet race. So, it's on the cards. It seems to be something that the computer likes to throw at the drivers here at the Brazilian circuit. I wonder if we'll see a bit of water come down from the heavens once again. And I will say for Atom as well, Dara, since you've returned, he's calling me his lucky charm. I don't know how much you think about that, but every time you disappear or have other things you need to attend to, he does seem to pull an absolute weldy out the bag here and there. But you've returned and he's down the grid. What's going on? What have you got over Atom, Dara?
I mean, to be fair, in all my defence, BBC at Monza about a month and a half ago, he won a BBC, and I'm not going to lie, I'd argue that might be more difficult than a GRL race. Maybe not now, especially with grid improving over the seasons we've had, but he won that race. I was there for it. Rob Kelly was there for it, though. Maybe it's Rob and you. I'm not too sure. Either way, I'm pleased that I can beat Atom's unlucky charm, because I can just smile and wave. And his Austrian calmness and his composure means that he'll never get angry at me. But there we go. Who's winning this race? Is this race though, Ashley? Who's picking?
Oh God, I'll have to hang on. Bear with me. We're getting the ready up in 1 minute's time, and let me have a quick look at the grid. Let me see who I feel is going to do it. I mean, with such a pace advantage that Nardo's pulled off, it could easily just be a whitewash from the man at Aston Martin. But equally, you've got to give it to Blade though. Still, he's in 4th, and he's been very, very consistent this year, but I will say TechCube's been looking pretty good in the last few races as well. I think the Haas pairing could be the force to be reckoned with this evening. So I'm not going to pick a driver. I'm going to pick Haas. Haas are going to win. I don't know who. I'm not going to be able to split it. One of them's going to do it. As still waiting here. Are you still there, Dara? You've disappeared.
Sorry.
I was waiting for you to jump back in, and you didn't.
I'll do it now. Everyone else could hear me if they were watching the GRL screen, because I cut to unmute my mic
No
because I was
worries.
coughing.
I've called you out.
Been there before. I have been doing a very big race, and I'll be making a fantastic point. I said something fantastic, and just finishing that sentence, the person I'm commentating with says, Darren Thacker there, forgetting to unmute his microphone because he knew exactly what I did. Right, anyway, 5 red lights here. Final race of the season, final race on F123 for GRL. It's the Brazilian Grand Prix, and we're racing here in Interlagos. Good start from Nardo, but Owen's going to try and do him down the inside, but he can't quite find that line as we make our way through the opening corner. 2, 3 wide in the background. Can they all make their way through the centre S's? It's going to be tricky, especially in the background, but I think just about everyone has slithered their way down towards the Red Aposta. Nardo still leads from Owen, from Lele and Blaze. Nardo's on that soft compound tyre, a bit of a bold strategy. Maybe the rain is coming. Who knows at all? The two Ferraris, they push each other a little bit wide and off the track, so they're not too happy with each other off of the start. Nardo is away on that soft compound tyre, and everybody is through the first sector.
Yeah, they're all still facing in the right direction. That is a very good sign indeed. As we're looking a bit further down, Welsh Jack's getting past Atom. I think there's a bit of side-by-side action going on at the lower half of the grid there. Jack's made his way up. Atom is not having any of it though, by the looks of things, trying to get that position back pretty early on, but I'm quite surprised Nardo's gone for that soft, but it definitely showed in his initial getaway. He absolutely flew off that starting line, commanded the lead right from word go, and it's now his race to control. So brilliant start from Nardo. The cars behind though still looking pretty as well.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, Nardo really needs to pull this gap, doesn't he, over a second early on. Those soft tyres are not going to work, or this strategy isn't going to work towards the end, especially when you think the other guys are going to be onto mediums. Maybe Nardo's going for that soft medium. Those softs are not going to be looking too pretty by the end of his stint. Back at the rear of the field, Plains, Rob Kelly, Gibson, Antonio having a great battle. Rob Kelly, for the first time I think ever, I'm seeing him in last position. I don't think I've ever seen that in my life. But he might be able to get it up into 19th ahead of JW Gibson because they've both had terrible starts. Rob Kelly started 15th, Gibson started 12th, and they find themselves back here. Good starts, though, for Welsh Jack up 6 and Conte up 4, but everyone else relatively even off the start, I think it's fair to say, but everybody in a big, long train behind Owen because Nardo has got away.
Yeah, that's what Nardo needed to do, put his stamp of authority on this race pretty early on. But yeah, like we say, he is on that different compound of tyres, so it's kind of expected at this point of the Grand Prix. You mentioned Rob Kelly never been in last before, Darragh. I'm pretty sure I've seen it on the odd occasion. He's not superhuman, because if he has never been last, then yeah, he is something special. But although Rob Kelly is special in our hearts, I don't think he's quite the superhero you're making him out to be. But hey, let's be nice, let's play all fair.
Hey now.
I'm trying to be unbiased. Rob Kelly at the back of the field, but he's not off of it. You're trying to be biased. I'll let you be biased, Darragh. I know you love Rob. He's your best.
I will
be.
I will say that I am unbiased and just claim to be the EBU.
But we know that deep down, you're secretly it's Rob Kelly, season 6 GRL champion. We all know it.
Yeah.
We all love it.
I have no doubt.
Yeah, no doubts. Well, we'll have to see for the next game, of course. Let's see what Rob could do then as well. But at the moment, he's still at the back, but he is still hanging on, no problem at all. He has definitely got that pace. As Nardo at the other end has opened the gap up just a little bit more, but it is going to become DRS train central as we finish lap. No, we're in lap 3 already. My word, where is it going by? So we've already got the DRS in activation, and I completely missed it, is what you're saying. Lap 4 now then, never mind.
And look at Lele using it. Ooh, Lele nearly going for the move. Welsh Jack picking up P10 now in towards the top 10, overtaking Borden Boy on his medium tyre, so he's going to make them work early on, which of course he does need to. Borden Boy might try and come back at him down the Retta Aposta, but nothing doing there, I don't think, for him. In the background, I think Rob Kelly might be overtaking Gibson for 19th, and yes, he is. Overtake. But Gibson's fighting it back up the inside. There's contact. And I thought we were going to see two cars spearing into the wall. Thankfully, they are both facing the right direction. But as it is, Nardo, 2.5 seconds of an advantage. Owen really needs to hope those softs die soon.
The thing with Rob Kelly and Gibson here, them battling it out for 19th position, that's all well and good, but now they've lost the DRS, so they need to really work their way to get back into that train, because once you lose it, you do tend to drop a bit like a stone in water. But equally, these two are fighting it also for P4 in this championship with Atom. Atom sitting P14th, he's picking up a couple of points because it is the MotoGP style. Unfortunately, Gibson's just left there as well, so that's going to put a dampener on his evening even further. But they're battling it out a bit too hard and furious. Oh, what's happened, Darafaka?
I went on board with Dara and Beeford, and he was not going where the track was going. He's slipping down to P14, P15 now, maybe dropping behind Partick as well, but I think there may have been contact with AERT down towards turn 1. I'm really not too sure. But literally as I went on board, B4 was going into the runoff there, and he has dropped like a sack of spuds. And my Mercedes prediction is going fantastically.
Yeah, it certainly is at this point. They're both down 16th and 19th, respectively, I will add. But yeah, B4, we don't know what happened. But I'm struggling to figure where to look, if I'm being completely honest with you here, Tara. There is literally, everywhere you look up and down, anyone could make a lunge at any point. Whenever they really like. I'm looking at Blade and Lele though. They are trying to go side by side in this final sector. Blade just about getting past the Red Bull at the moment, but now the DRS, Lele's going to try and fight back in towards turn number 1 as they go across the start-finish line. Will we see a move right back to take this position and the podium away? Yes, he will. I think he's going to go for that inside line. But I think Blade there, very late on the brakes, got it stopped up as well. Brilliant defensive driving from the Haas, and Tecubi is now going to have the chance to get past that Red Bull instead.
He is, but I mean, there is really quite hard fighting all the way through this field because none of them are really gapping out. Bordenboy may be losing the DRS, but going to try and get himself back into it. Then you look right down to the back with Plains and Rob Kelly maybe being out. Gibson's a long way back, but he's just rejoined the session. But, I mean, we're on lap 36, and it's great to see that we've got so many cars so close together because it really means that the strategy could change everything. A couple of laps and an undercut could see you go from, P14, 15 in the order all the way up to the top 5.
Yeah, it certainly could. We've been having that sort of thing the last couple of weeks. Miami, for example, Abu Dhabi, a couple of the guys that were running incredibly close in with the front pack, but a bit further down the order, jumped in the lap into the pits a few laps early, and before you knew it, they were really fighting it out up in near the podium spot. So, of course, it is doable at those circuits, and well, Brazil is no exception. Welsh Jack going for the move on AERT Jake. They're side by side through the centre. There's contact. Jack is round. They're still touching one another, and the Aston Martin has now ghosted his way through the Williams, but Jack's on the grass. He's down. He's now in 19th position, along with his teammate right at the back of the grid.
Yeah, it's good if we didn't say Williams to get the win, isn't it? Because they're not having the best of races either. And it's just meant that a few of these drivers are really quite quietly picking their way through the order. Kont started P20 up to P11. He's doing a good job. Same with the likes of Ads up there in 6th and Takubi there as well. That gap to the leader between Owen and Nardo is stagnating. It is starting to come down. It was 2.9. It's now 2.8. And it does look like those softs have lost their shine and the hards are really starting to come back at the softs. And we're really looking at a bit of a crossover period now, I think, in terms of the pace of the tyre.
Yeah, between the softs and the hards, yeah, absolutely. But the medium tyre is still going to be... I would say now the medium tyre is the best tyre to be on until we get that little bit further, and then the hard will fully take over and come into full force, being the dominating tyre. But at the moment, the majority of them are on that hard compound tyre. Only Kontz and Welsh Jack, who were... Well, Kontz still running very well. Welsh Jack, unfortunately, having an incident between him and that Aston Martin. But they were both flying along on that medium compounded tyre. So it just shows that it is, a good race tyre, of course. But the hard will soon take over, no doubt at all. The other thing I will, though, say, all these cars close together, furious action wherever you look, but of course you could see a safety car. 60% is the chance of one happening, or 40% if it is the virtual version, but that's based on the real world statistics, as it always is, so it could be slightly higher, and I would say Brazil, there tends to be a few argy-bargies here and there, like cars like to go side by side, bit of action. But of course, we've just seen a lap ago, it can end in disaster.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, we do love to see this close quarter racing, but it can be a little bit dangerous, can't it, with contact very much prevalent in some of these battles. But we always like to see it when it remains nice and clean. Owen still behind Blades, though. Didn't really feel like making an overtake, sitting on a full battery store as they start to really close in on Nardo. Half a second pretty much taken out on that last lap, and you'll just think it's going to increase, and increase. And if you think that they're all likely to go to the same tyre towards the end, you'd favour. Oh, that's Gibson off. You'd favour the drivers who are going to go onto it later. I should say, sorry, to have a much better pace towards the end of the race and maybe come out on top. So, Nardo, he's gone for something bold, but I'm still not too sure whether it's going to really work out for him.
Yeah, no, you're right. Everything you've just said is absolutely spot on. I feel. I mean, of course, I think in his mind, probably the case is put the softest compounder tyre on, get the lead, make sure no one can challenge him for it, and then try and go for as long as you can on the tyre you've opted for, and really hope that it sticks and the strategy works for you. But it is bold as that is AERT Jake getting a bit of a wiggle on out of the final sort of proper corner. I think it's Junkow. Apologies for the pronunciation beforehand, because I probably got it wrong. But he's just lost 2 positions from it. He's down in 17th now, and FRT Tonio, Exotic Plains, making their way through from that. And there's still going to be a little bit of battling on further down here. Exotic Plains through the Senna S's, absolutely pushing the Alpha Tauri round. He's going to go to the inside line. He's getting pushed right up to the white strip on the inside. Oh, that's a bit cheeky from the Alpha Tauri. He was the lead car, but that's in the braking zone in my opinion. I wonder if the stewards might look at that after the race, but nonetheless Tonio holds on to 15th for the moment.
He does. It is close, isn't it, all the way through this field, because if we look at the gap to leader, from Blades down to Rob Kelly, with a break in, or there is no break in the train. So from Blades all the way down to Rob Kelly, it is 7 seconds of car after car after car after car. Tonio's got to be careful. Got to get a good X out of here to make sure he gets into the DRS and will just about sneak in. So everyone from 3rd down to 18th will have the DRS. But we're not going to go for the move again on Blades, who is not using any ERS to gain up to Nardo, who has got much less than really anybody else in this race, with the exception of possibly Jordan. So good stuff here. Plains having a torrid time, dropping a couple of positions to Tonio now, who has lost that DRS to be forward in front. Let's have a look at Jake, because he's going to make his way through along with Exotic Plains on their way down towards turn 4. Jake looks for the move in towards the Cedar de Largo, but stays in behind. Atom and Partick going side by side. Atom's going to come out on top in that one. But we're on lap 11 of 36. Nardo's lead is still just over 2 seconds. But Blades and the rest, they are arriving at speed.
Yeah, just back down to that sort of lower, for the final point scoring position it is for, down in P15. Rob Kelly, he's still on the back of that, but he did look to be struggling a little bit at keeping with them. I wonder if that's a bit strategic, though, not to, I guess, overheat the tyres, burn them out, and just sort of stick with. But he has got, well, they've all got to worry at this point, because if they do lose that DRS, they've just nipped back under it once again. But if they are going to break the chain and drop off the back, then they are going to struggle for the rest of this Grand Prix. It is very, very difficult to get back in the DRS zone once you've lost it, unless you really do have a serious pace deficit between the two cars. But I've noticed the gap at the front again is sort of stagnated a little bit. Blade not able to gain much on that last lap. It is 2.1 seconds at this present moment. Nardo doing everything he needs to, and I think it's very much just follow the leader, a bit of a conga line for the time being. It's very much settled down. It's the calm before the storm, as they say, and the pit stops are on their way, and that will surely shake things up when they arrive. But at the moment, just probably a few laps out, I would imagine, just for the minute, but not too long.
Yeah, not too long. And in that little gap that we do have, Ashley, would you like to hear a fun fact that I worked out today?
Oh, please! I love fun facts. That honestly,
you're
can't get
you're
enough
going
of
to
them.
love this one. You really are.
Go on,
I
then.
have driven 83% of the A5 outside of the M25.
Oh, that is
Now, I
magnificent.
know. I hope you were sitting down for that. I know that's a bit of a stunner. But I did work that out because I drove like a little bit today that I hadn't
Yeah.
done before that wasn't in Wales. So,
Nice.
because I'm a nerd like that.
Which way around you drive it? Clockwise or
I drove it
anti-clockwise?
south from Hotcliffe to Luton. Aren't I lucky?
Oh,
Got to visit
brilliant.
Luton.
Oh, everyone's favourite airport. Love it.
Everyone's favourite airport. What's the best thing about Luton? The airport to get away from Luton. Right, come on. Right then, we're on lap 13 of 36. Over a third of the way through this race now. It's just kind of ticking by. It's one of those races where, like you said, we're kind of waiting for that period. We're going to have the pit stop soon. You think Nardo is going to come in, almost certainly this or next. Probably next lap, I'd imagine. I can't imagine he's going to wait too long on this soft-compound tyre. And he is consistently being closed down now by the rest of the pack. 1.8 is now that gap. So when he will pit, of course, he'll get an undercut. But when everyone else comes out, they will have fresher tyres all the way to the end. And so they will not wear, or the wear will not be as great as it is on Nardo's car, all the way to the 36th and final lap of the race. So he's going to have that inherent disadvantage all the way through. But you've got to look at the fact of Conts. Well, Shaq, what do they do on their tyres? Particularly Conts, does he go for a medium soft here, or does he hold it out and go for the medium hard still?
It'd be interesting to see how it pans out, as we've got a yellow flag down in sector 1. That's one of the Aston Martins. What has happened there? He's round. He's in the grass. He's just getting going underway once again. That's AR Jake that's had an issue in a moment. No safety car needed, which is lucky for us, as it does mean that everyone can continue on as they were. But unfortunately for Jake there, he is now down and in 19th position. Gibson, the only car currently still behind him. And the gap up front is still closing all the time, lap after lap. It's 1.3 seconds. I think Nardo really needs to do it now, doesn't he, Dara? Because otherwise he's going to give Blade... It's just one lap of DRS advantage, but it's still an advantage that Blade will take. So it makes the most sense to do it now. Yes, he's in. There he goes. He's flyed into the pits. He's going to get off that soft compound of tyre. I wonder what he is going to pit onto. I would imagine it's got to be the hard, hasn't it, surely?
No, it'll go medium-ish, surely. He's gone too far to go for hard, I think.
You want to bet?
Oh, he's going hard.
Hey!
I cannot fathom why he's made that strategy then. But anyway, we'll let it off. It's a weird one. I'm surprised not gone to a medium. Jake's given up. So there's only now one Aston Martin left in the fight, down in P18 now. But the train, yet to pit every single one of them. We're on lap 15 of 36. I'd imagine that the pit stop window is going to be...
about now.
Really, anywhere from lap... maybe even next lap to get onto the medium tyre, possibly.
I think you could easily... I mean, those softs have done 14 laps. That is over a third of the distance. I think you could easily get a medium tyre to 2/3 if you really needed to do it. And I think that undercut around here is quite large, particularly in that middle sector. It all depends on where you are in sort of the train of things. If you are within the DRS train, there's no need to pit. It's not worth it. But if you're on your own or feel like you may drop off the pace in the next lap or two in terms of losing that DRS effect, it's worth taking the risk to go that extra lap or two early, get a big undercut and hope that you can defend, or come back out neatly and nicely a bit further up the train. It's very difficult to call, but I would imagine from any point now we should see cars coming in to switching over to the new set of tyres they'll have ready.
Yeah, like you said, I can't see them waiting too much longer to make a call in this regard, but you never do know. We'll have to wait and see on this one. We have got everybody on this hard tyre that's kind of keeping us waiting on when they're going to pick. Because surely they're all going to go for a medium. I can't see anybody going for a soft. I think it'd be a little bit silly, quite frankly, to hold out for a soft. But will anybody this time around? I think they could, but I think maybe the pit stop window is going to open next time around. Let's see everyone staying out. Looks like everyone, no one taking a risk. No, someone is taking a risk. It's going to be RMB4. There's a big old battle into turn one. They're 3 wide. Blade's going to have to pull out. He's been overtaken by Owen Takubi and Lele down that straight. And you can tell we're in the pit stop phase because moves are starting to be made.
Yeah, they're going to want to get track position for when they do pit in. The earlier you can get in, normally it ends up being the better strategy in terms of the pits, especially if you do get a flurry of cars all piling in at the same time. But yeah, we've got a new leader then. ART Owen is out front for Alfa Romeo, but the two Hasses still there, second and fourth. Like I said, that's where my money is this evening. I think one of them's going to do it, but there's still at least, well, nearly at the halfway mark of this race. Still a lot can happen. But at the moment, ART takes the lead. Tecubi second. Lele rounds out that top three. And you got Blade, Ads, Jordan, Bourbon Boy, Jobbo, Godwin, Conts rounds out your top 10. Atom, Partick, Plains. Rob Kelly is up to 14th now. Tonio, 15th, Welsh Jack up into 16th, Nardo 17th, B Ford is 18th, and Gibson out the back in 19th position.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing now a few pitters, Atom, Partick and Rob Kelly now. How good is the undercut for B Ford? That's what I'm thinking about here. He's coming down towards turn one. He's going to fly past all three of these guys, as you'd expect. It's going to be at least a 2-second undercut, I reckon. But having said that, he's about side by side. But yeah, look at that. As they come through turn three, you can just see on the minimap the pace advantage that he has. And those tyres behind will have to get up to temperature now. So he will be gaining a little bit. And as these guys are fighting up in the lead, as we will be at half race distance at the end of this lap, you know, who's going to really be the driver that's going to be emerging in the lead in terms of this battle? Because I think maybe this or next is where most of these guys are going to come into the pit lane.
Yeah, it needs to be the reaction now, because B Ford is now going on to his second lap on those tyres, after his out lap, I should say. So he will have them up to temperature at this point, as we've got one of the Hasses in, that's Blade. Oh, that's not what he needed. 5-second time penalty added, and then Godwin picks up one as well on the way in. It is quite easily done here. Let's see once again where B Ford is going to come out in comparison to those guys, because they were, especially Blade, he was right out at the front. But I really want to see Atom move further up the grid with my unbiased hat on, obviously, right there. But nonetheless, let's see what he could do. I think he's just been overtaken by Partick, actually. Here we go, though. B Ford is going to be side by side with Blade on the pit exit. It's now a run down towards turn number 4, and he's just about got in front of the Haas. I think B Ford here could potentially, provisionally, well, actually, I think he will be in the lead by the time the rest of them pit.
Apart from Nardo, of course.
Oh, yes, of course. No, yeah.
Who is, 9 seconds nearly in the lead. But he is still the net race. It's just he's so far in front of the pack, but he will just be being reeled in lap after lap. They can't get complacent. They know that they're going to have to pull him in at some point. But B Ford is going to be, I think, the leader of this train, which I think is unbelievable to say. But it's like I said before, a couple of laps worth of an undercut, and you can treat yourself from 15th up into the top 5, and that's exactly what B Ford has done. And that's why he wins so many races, because even if he doesn't have the fastest car or the fastest strategy, he plays it well. His racing brain works well enough that he can put himself into these positions and then try to defend. And if there's a safety car, absolute bonus. Because look, as the others come out of the pit lane, these two, of Blaze and B Ford, are clearly going to be in the front.
Yeah, he certainly will. This is why they win so many races, this sort of three that have been battling it out this season especially. And I know Atom likes to tell us that we constantly go on about the same three drivers, but the reason why we end up talking about the same three drivers is that they just perform week in, week out, and they're the ones always at the top of the timing screens, the top of the sort of laps led, at the top on the podium steps more than any other drivers. I think Welsh Jack this year alone has stood on that podium. Atom did tell me, I think he's done it 11 times, and B Ford and Blade have done it 9 times each as well. So the reason why we talk about them so much is because they know how to race, they know how to dominate in a way, and once again just showing their class. But Welsh Jack is a bit out of sync at the moment. He's up there in 6th, but he's obviously not made that pit stop yet either. And I'm curious to see what his strategy is going to be from here, because he is out of sync with the rest of them.
He is, isn't he? I mean, the job of fastest lap here, as we do now, obviously see Ads and Jordan come into the box. So we are only waiting for Bourbon Boycott and Welsh Jack to make their mandatory pit stop in this race. Gibson, sadly, is just right off the back. He's not in contention at all. But Nardo is only 5.5 seconds off of the lead on his tyre. But he's going to be starting to be reeled in at quite a rate of knots. Remember, we talked about that gap being 9 seconds? Well, it's already down to 7. So, these fresh mediums really, really working well. And I think when these medium runners get up to the back of Nardo, he may be swallowed up quite quickly.
I mean, you say that. My counter argument to that is he's on that hard tyre. Yeah, these medium tyres, they've pitted a little bit later. There's fresher rubber, it's grippier rubber, they're going to be quicker. However, once you start getting into the longevity of each of these tyre lives, that hard tyre is at some point actually probably going to be the better tyre to be on, particularly in the closing lap. So if Nardo can hold them off, if they catch up first of all, as we're going to get a bit of a battle on here, I'll come back to my point in just a moment. B4 going to go for the move, I think, up into P4. He's got past Welsh Jack, Jobbo, all in one corner. I think it all got a little bit argy-bargy. Blade is still in 3rd. He's the car in front now, and he's got to defend once again down towards turn number 4. Beeford's going to have that DRS. He gets the move done nice and easy before braking, as it is all still happening behind these two as well. Bit of a change there. Welsh Jack down to 7th. Tech could be up into 6th.
Owen making a move as well to the inside of Welsh Jack as they make their way through Ferradura. So that was an important move because these guys are the train, really. And Welsh Jack might be a little bit of a roadblock in the next couple of corners for Lele. But Lele, of course, will pick up some DRS off of Welsh Jack if he stays in behind. But you can just see how much he's closing by with the old tyres that are on Welsh Jack's car. They'll come in towards Zheng Sao now. And you can see having to lift off the throttle. Lele not going to go to the inside line. And actually, maybe in a little bit of bother because the fighting up in front nearly giving Welsh Jack DRS. But in the end, Lele should get the move done here.
Sorry, I've done it again. I keep shouting. I'm getting all excited as stuff is happening. I thought I saw a car dart off into the grass. It's going to be 3 wide into turn 1. They've managed to sort of level each other out and back into a single file once again. But my word, what is happening here? We're looking at some action everywhere you look on this grid. There is overtakes being made. Beeford is in 2nd, Blade is 3rd, Owen now up to 4th, and Jobbo is down to 5th. And I don't think this is over yet. There's plenty more to come from this battle.
Oh, absolutely so. I cannot see this ending very soon at all because these guys, this is the race now. They're all going to the end. This is the race. Blade's 5-second time penalty isn't going to help him out by any stretch of the imagination. But while these guys are fighting, they've got to remember, Nardo is the leader. Nardo is not going to pit again. They've got to catch him. Otherwise, he's going to be the winner in this race. I mean, that's got to be task 1. They can fight and squabble when they get to him. But for now, surely that's got to be the focus.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. They really do need to, I think, at this point of the Grand Prix, work together if they want that win. Catch up to the guy who is winning. That is task number 1. And then, like you say, they can squabble after that, but I don't think they're going to think about it like that. Look at them, they go for moves once again. Owen up the inside of Beeford. He's lost 2 positions into turn number 1 and into the centre S's. Blade is now in 2nd position. Owen has gone up to 3rd. Where has Welsh Jack? He's finally pitted. He's gone onto the soft tyre. But he is down back in P18. But this battle for effectively the last 2 podium spots is very much getting hot under the collar. Nardo, though, that gap is closing lap after lap, which is good news for these guys. It's 5.9 seconds to Nardo. But like I say, I think that hard tyre, at some point, I think Nardo's going to be actually the man on the right tyre. But it's still the advantage medium runners, and they'll close that gap in as fast as they can.
Yeah, they're going to be doing darnest. I've forgotten the word. We're nearly 2/3 of the way through this race. And we are there now as Nardo crosses the line. So 12 laps to go, 12 laps of the season left to run. And really, this is anyone's game. Look at Jobbo closing on B-Ford, on Owen, on Blaze. Jobbo to the inside of B-Ford. Late send. I don't think he's going to make this one stick around the outside at 2, but he'll have the inside line for 3. A little bit of argy-bargy as they're on their way through. No ERS in the car for Jobbo, but he's using every last drop to make his way up into P4. Blaze 5.3 back from Nardo, but they've really got to start gaining. That gap has to be coming down at more than half a second a lap, you'd say.
Yeah, it definitely does. I'm just going to commend Jobbo for, and B-Ford actually, that was some brilliant side-by-side action through the centre. S did very, very well to not cause an incident. What has happened to Nardo though? He's dropping down the order. He's in 9th on my screen. What has happened? I've got Nardo down in 9th position. Blade has taken the lead. And he's dropping like an absolute stone. Atom now goes past. Exotic Plains now goes past. What has happened to the Aston Martin? The man who was absolutely in command at the start of this Grand Prix up until this very moment. He's now down in 13th. Rob Kelly's passed him. Here comes the Ferrari. Bourbon Boy, no doubt probably going to come past. He's in the pits. What has happened?
I can only imagine he's spun somewhere. I looked away briefly, but he must have spun somewhere. Those tyres looked hot on the rears. He was struggling to keep them under control. So, you know, forget about Nardo. Forget about him. He's not in the race anymore. This is now a race realistically between Owen, Jobbo to QB. Blaze with that 5 seconds really out of contention with absolutely everyone in behind him. But you look at who's got the freshest tyres in this train. Bourbon Boy in 11th, some fresh tyres. But, you know, a little bit too far back. Ad's got some fresh tyres, but he's got a 5-second time penalty. So really, look out for Jordan here, because he's got those freshest medium compound tyres, and he's in this lead train.
He is. You're absolutely spot on once again.
What can I say?
I know you've got it all. You've got it all down, haven't you, Darry? You know what you're doing at this point, and can't disagree with you, of course. No, but this is now the battle for the win. This really is. So these guys that were squabbling beforehand, obviously didn't realise it at the time, but you know, Nardo was out front, maybe. Well, he was, and then it's all gone wrong for him, and now these guys are battling for the lead. So every position now gained really does count ever so much more. B-Ford now down into 7th position. He's lost a few more positions into turn number 1. Ads is up, Lele is up, and they can go chasing after this front quartet that it is somewhat become at this point. As Tonio has had enough for this evening as well. He's retired the car in pit lane. So that's 2 cars now gone from this Grand Prix, and we've got 18 left.
Yeah, I mean, everything's ticking down. It's laps, number of cars left in the race. But what isn't ticking down is the amount of action that we're getting, because these guys are still going for it, hammer and tong. We'll have 9 laps to go when they cross the line. So you think, what, roughly 12 minutes of racing? But they are going to feel like 12 long minutes worth of racing. I can only think, as a spin on the back there, this is Conts involved.
He's
who's retired on track. Will not be looked nicely upon by the stewards, I'll tell you that much for free. But they look like they may have been in contact with the likes of Partick there. Was Jack B-Ford's into the pit lane?
He's hoping for safety car, he's got to be.
Was he involved in that, maybe? Doesn't know he's hoping for a safety car.
He's gone into softs. I think he was hoping for a safety car in that. He's got to be. There's no other explanation as to why he's come into pits. There's no front wing change. He's literally just gone in, put a set of softs on. He's going to run it to the end. I think he was hoping for a safety car and that he could get the jump on everyone by doing it early. There's no other explanation for it, but he is now down in 14th position and way off the lead pack. So, and that safety car, more importantly, never arrived. So,
oh, sorry, Lele's been pushed off the track. 3 goes Ads. No, another question would be, maybe he was looking for a front wing change, but didn't put it to yes.
That is also an option.
That could be an option, because Beefle wouldn't come into the pit lane now. His tyres are 1 lap older than Blade to keep it. They are going to get to the end. I really am befuddled why he did that. But regardless, Owen technically leads this race if you count in the penalties. Here comes Ads on Jobbo. He's also got that penalty, so he will also drop down like a stone. Takubi around the outside of Owen. There's a little bit of contact there. That's up into P4. But he will be gaining through turn 3 after the bad line from Takubi. And they've now got 8 laps to go. Owen looking towards the lead, but he's not going to. There's an Aston Martin stopped on the track there.
There is, but it's going to disappear, no problem. I was trying to do my best Ted Kravitz impression. I was having a little look at B Ford's front wing, if I could get the best view possible. I couldn't see any end plate damage, no damage from what I could see on that McLaren, on that Mercedes. So as far as I can tell, and my best bet, using all of my one brain cell, is that he really was hoping for a safety car after the incident that just occurred, but like I say, it didn't happen, and so he's now in 14th on that freshest set of tyres. Maybe he's going for fastest lap, who knows? But nonetheless, he's well out of contention for the win of this race, unless we do get some late action drama. If not, Owen Tekubi, I think they're the two that are really fighting for the win of this Grand Prix, as Blade out front's got that penalty, and so is Ads in 4th. But we still can't, of course, count out the likes of Jobbo, Lele, even Jordan. But Bourbon Boy has broke the chain of DRS, so I think it might be a bit of a tougher day for him at the office to get this win. As Lele now picks up a 3-second time pen. I think that was him fighting a little bit there with Jobbo through the centre S's.
Yeah, these guys, they're not going to give it up, are they? That's for sure. But we do have this lead train of 7, 3 of which have the penalties, which kind of limits the battle to 4 of the drivers. Of course, those 4 being Owen to QB, Jobbo and Jordan, but also Bourbon Boy's in there. I know he's a second and a half off the back, but if these guys start to fight, Bourbon Boy's going to be in this train and with the freshest tyres of anybody. So you really want to keep an eye on him. Will we have 6 laps to go? Beaver's still going to be picking up a couple of points in his race. Rob Kelly's found his way up into P10, but he's only really in battle with Atom for the end of the top 10 because they're off the back of the train for the lead. But with Bourbon Boy really starting to catch the guys in the top 7, this is anybody's game with 6 to go.
Yeah, it could be very interesting. He's got one job first, get in the DRS. Once you've done that and ticked it off your list, then you can focus on the next job, which is making sure that you can, have the battery left to fight for that front few positions, even the podium, and then he can really, once he gets to the checker flag, see his list, see if he's ticked them all off, and if he's on the top step, he can hold his head high and say well done to himself, pat on the back. But he's got a few things on his list first of all, but he is in a pretty good position to do it. I say that though, looking up, Exotic Plains has gotten past him. He's in 8th and Bourbon Boy back down to 9th, so he's just making that a little bit harder for himself here. But the front 7 still battling it out, all within the DRS zones of one another. That's Ads taking a lunge up the inside of Tekubi. They've allowed space for one another to go racing. That's very good awareness from the two of them. The Haas going to have the inside line here, though, into the proper final corner, but this is not over yet. Ads managed to get a pretty good exit out of it. They're going to be side by side on the run up to the start finish line. The Alpine ahead. The Haas going to try his best to fight back towards turn number 1. Has he got enough pace? Not quite. Ads has managed to fend him off and hold out to that 3rd position. Brilliant overtake from the Alpine.
Yeah, it is, but you've got to be careful. He will have the DRS back down towards turn 4, but he's doing a nice job here as Ads. But you've also got to look at other little parts of this race. Ads getting past Takubi means that Takubi, there's a car between himself and Owen who is realistically racing for the win here. So Owen's in a much more comfortable position than he was 30 seconds ago, and Owen and Ads are likely to be talking to each other in a party somewhere. I'm not 100% sure, but I really... wouldn't be too surprised at all. Gibson will not be last in this race, so he's stuck around and he will be in P15. He'll be scoring a point as it stands, but he will have to be careful because Godwin will be gaining on him like there is absolutely no tomorrow. So, yeah, going to have to be careful here, Gibson. If his tyres aren't falling off already, he's going to have a little bit more work to do. But with 4 to go now, Bourbon Boy agonisingly close to that DRS, not going to get in it. Realistically, maybe his effectiveness in this race could be over, but look at Jobbo, here he comes.
Yeah, it's looking pretty effective. I'm just looking at the point standings, trying to work out who's going to... I think Atom, if he finishes where he is, he's sewn up P4 in this championship. Rob Kelly is on 105 points, but going into this race. You've then got Gibson on 98 and Tekubi is on 90. So, in theory, if TechUB finishes a bit further up, and maybe if Rob Kelly loses a couple, Rob could lose out on 5th in the Drivers' Championship here. It all depends on the finishing positions once we reach that checkered flag. But TechUB in a very good position here, definitely to gain on Gibson. He's only 8 points behind, so I think he's pretty much guaranteed 6th in the Drivers, providing it stays as is. I'm not going to give it the commentator's curse, but or I'm definitely not going to try anyway. But with Gibson down in 15th, TechUB in 4th, that's pretty good points difference there. But we have still got 3 laps to go at the end of this one. And yeah, like you say, we're counting down all the time. The laps, the game, life, everything in general, always on the down, unfortunately. But oh, I know. Should we pick it back up, Dara? No. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
That's a thought, isn't it? God. Life ticking away from us.
You've got to spice things up, though, F1.
Everybody watching along, if you are a fan of the Silent Thief Twitch channel, or even the Dara NC18 Twitch channel, in, 2.5 weeks' time, you're going to enjoy the BPRL Indy, I think technically the Indy 300. That we will partake on.
I don't even know if it's that. I think it might even be 200 or 125.
It's it 125?
Well, there's only a lap limit, so I think they normally do 120 or 125 laps, which I think adds up to 200 miles.
I think they make it so that it's 120 laps from the start.
Yeah.
So it might be like 122, but that is, because 200 laps is 500 miles, so it's 100 per 40. Which means 120 is 300, I think.
So all right then. Either way.
You guys will enjoy that. Me inevitably getting shouted at by Alex Fearon. Anyway, regardless about that, we've got to talk about this race because there's only 2 more laps of it to go. It's all hotted up. We've got the top 6 now. Bourbon Boy behind Exotic Plains and Lele. These guys might be starting to fight later on. So later on, they've only got a couple of laps to do it. Owen might be going for the lead on the final lap. He's got all the battery you could ever desire, 86% in that Alfa Romeo car, and he's looking to take the win, possibly on the final lap off of Blaze. TechUB a little bit further back. Jobbo looking to pick up a podium as well, but Jordan, could he cruelly snatch that from Jobbo's hands?
Yep, absolutely could do. Can't imagine why he wouldn't try. At least the bare minimum is giving it a go. So keep an eye on that Ferrari. May snatch the position away from the McLaren. Yeah, you're quite right. We're about to finish the penultimate lap, and we're going into the very final lap then of GRL Season 5 of F1 23. It will be goodbye and then hello once again at the end of the month when we welcome F1 24 into our arms, hopefully with open, loving arms, depending on, of course, how the physics engine works. But nonetheless, here we go. One final lap. Can AERT Owen make the move down towards turn number 4? It's really going to be his best opportunity, unless of course he wants a drag up towards the start finish line. But he's going to have the inside line on Blade. I think he's going to have it done nice and easy. Yep, before they even make it to the braking zone. AERT Owen retakes the lead, and he's got the rest of the lap to hang on to it. Let's see if he can.
Yeah, let's see if he can just about hang on for this win. I mean, he should, realistically, because of course he has got that advantage of not having a penalty in this race. So you'd think that he should be able to carry this one out, but you know, anything can happen on the run up towards the line. Blade might just take the ceremonial victory, even if he drops like a stone with the time penalty that he's got. I mean, you're going to be looking at dropping back to P7 or so in this race, so really not going to work out well for him. Plains or Lele dropping back, maybe making a mistake through the final couple of corners, but as they run up towards the line, Owen has really played this to perfection. He pitted on the right lap realistically, and he just sat in behind for P2, used his ERS, didn't let anybody pass. And Owen, for the final race in GRL Season 5 and on F1 23, is your winner. TechUB in P2, and Jobbo does pick up the final podium position. Lele retired before he even got to the line, which is somewhat weird. Then you've got Jobbo, Jordan in 4th, and then Blades in P5, Ads and Bourbon Boy and Exotic Plains, that top 8. Really not much between them. Atom just about ahead of Rob Kelly for 9th and 10th, with B4 down in 11th after he made that pit stop. Partick in 12th. And Welsh Jack in 13th. Godwin has managed to get his way past Gibson.
But he's ghosted. I'm going to point it out. He's ghosted. He's not there. It's a shame, because they could have had a brilliant last lap bit of action here. But Well, it doesn't look like we're really going to get it, but either way, I will ask that: is Lele? Is he going to finish P14, or is because he retired before the line? Is that how would that work?
Well, he's out, isn't he?
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, he's now.
He retired. No, but he retired on track. He didn't crash. He retired on track.
Exactly.
So he doesn't get the position.
He doesn't. Yeah, surely he doesn't get it.
No.
He'll be classified, but he's going to be 16th. Surely.
He'll be classified in 16th.
Yeah.
Because obviously there's like glitch when you cross the line and then you leave the session.
Yeah.
Which means that it DNFs you, but it still has got time. But he's just retired from the session, so his position will be wherever it is, P16 in the end, I think, because he DNF'd. Yeah, there he is. Yeah. P16, joining all the Italians down there, it seems, who enjoyed their time here this evening. But it is Owen who was the final race winner of the year. To QB and Jobbo, second and third. I wondered, Ashley, if you could invite Owen and Jobbo into the party quickly. We'll see if we can get their thoughts. Then we've got Jordan in fourth, Blades in fifth, and then Ads in sixth after Blades and Ads' tyre penalties. They only just had the Bourbon Boy and Exotic Planes, who themselves are only 400ths apart. Atom and Rob Kelly round out the top 10 in a very, very tight field, 12 seconds between them all. B forward, Partick and Welsh top 13 with Goblin and Gibson, your final points. Finishers, Lele, of course, DNF'd over the line. Nardo, Constanio and Jake, none of them saw the checkered flag either. That is a wrap, isn't it, Ashley? For GRL F123, it's been a bit of a ride, isn't it? We've been here, there and everywhere. But in the end, it is going to be Owen who wins the race. It is going to be Welsh Jack who wins the championship. And also, I do believe, if my math is correct, Haas win the constructors, because Takubi comes second. Oh, hang on. Takubi comes second. Blade comes fifth. What's that? 16, 13, 11. So that's 31. And then it was only...
Yeah, they've done it. I can tell you they've done it just based off that number you said. It was only a 17-point gap between the two.
Champions at the end.
They've stolen it right at the death. No, fair play to them as well. They were in the right position to do it, and Williams just slipped up in the last race. Of course, it didn't matter for Welsh Jack too much because he will be your Season 5 Drivers' Championship, and he absolutely deserved it with the dominance that he showed this season as well. But yeah, Haas, last race of the season, Constructors Champions. Well done, the two of them, TechQB and Blade. Brilliant stuff.
Yes, they are. I mean, would you like into our podium sitters, Ashley?
I'm quite happy to. There's no problem. I'm trying to remember which order they finished. Jobbo first. Thank you very much. I don't know how I forgot, because we were literally shouting, saying Owen's. Owen is the winner, and I don't know. Either way, Jobbo, well done on your podium position. How are you feeling after all of that?
Well, it's my first podium this season, which has been a travesty. But I undercut and it worked. Simpler. I think I jumped about 7 cars in the pits.
No. Brilliant. So the strategy working in your favour then, as you were predicting. It was a bit of an underrated performance from you. I don't feel as though me and Darrow weren't necessarily singing your praises so much. So, I mean, was that your sort of plan from right the word go with the strategy, or was it sort of on the fly you decided to go for that one instead?
Pretty much on the... It was on the fly because Borbin was annoying me. I was quicker than him, but he just kept having such a good exit in the last corner. So I decided to pit a lap earlier than you're supposed to. And I only did it to get past Borbin, and I ended up getting past most of good.
No. Understandable, fair play. And in the closing stages, there was a lot of battling for the sort of front positions. Were you worried at any point that maybe it could go wrong, or were you feeling pretty confident in your abilities to get the moves done where needed?
Well, it was more about defence for me, except B4, who I'm actually happy with my move on him. But yeah, it was just more defence. I let Owen by because there's just no point fighting that. I couldn't get Tech Newbie at the end, but apart from that, I defended. everything I needed to.
Yeah, you did, and you got a nice podium, and well done, first podium as well. Congratulations! So yeah, no, brilliant race for you, and the last race of the season as well. So no better time to do it. You're only as good as your last race, as they say. So well done to you there, Jovo. Brilliant stuff. Owen,
Thank
then
you.
we'll come to you as Tecubi is not here, but well done. Congratulations on your win. How are you feeling after that one?
Well, to be fair, when I saw AER2 Jobbo, Exotic Planes, and Rob Kelly racing, I thought, fucking hell, this might be easy. But nah, I'm only joking. Nah, I've heard. I
Right.
think it's the first race I've ever done in GRL, so I was expecting big things. Everyone says it's like one of the better leagues, and I jumped in, and after quali, seeing the times, thinking, fucking hell, I need to get me a finger on my arse. So it was a good race. Everyone's quite clean. There's a few that are a bit dodgy, but it was a good race.
Oh, good. We do try to pride ourselves on quality racing here at GRL, so I'm glad you are in agreement with that one as well. But yeah, no, brilliant stuff. I mean, you were pretty much at the front for the majority of the race, so you're clearly having the pace. But of course, Nardo was the lead man until I don't know what quite happened to him. If things turned out differently, do you feel you would have had the pace still to catch up and get the move done, or were you quite happy of what happened in the end?
Well, he pulled on the softs. I think he pulled like 3 seconds, and then me and Blades worked together and we caught to, I think like 2 seconds. But he boxed dead early, and then when I saw the gap when it was me and Blades 1-2 again. Well, no, sorry, second and third. It was like 5.5 seconds. I was thinking, I don't think we're gonna get this. And then at the time I said I'm not gonna catch Nardo. He spun, so I thought, oh, that's sound. And then I didn't realise Blade had a 5 sec, so it was an easy win basically. It was just
Yeah,
like
so
he was gifted.
the stars aligned for you then today and
Yeah.
gifted you a nice easy win. But no.
Technical reported your win.
Huh? For what?
It's the most wettest report I've ever seen.
Alright, let me have a look at that.
Oh,
Which ticket is it, Jobbo?
Which ticket?
258.
Oh, get some
What did I do?
live stewarding. Here we go.
I didn't go near him.
Like, so
Oh.
wet.
Let's have a look.
There's no way that's been.
Is there a way I can
So-
see the tickets, or is it just Stuart's?
Oh, this is turn one.
It's
Yeah.
number one.
He's got it in the
Thanks,
lead.
Harris's.
The first one you see is.
Is this it? What is
Yeah.
this?
Oh
No.
my
Right, don't worry, you're safe.
Someone
You're all
please send
good.
it
It's
me.
your win, Owen. Well done.
Cheers, mate, cheers.
Congratulations on it. Brilliant stuff. That is absolutely diabolical.
That is
Oh,
the greatest
dear.
ticket I think I've ever seen in my life.
I want to see it. Someone send it me, please.
I was genuinely waiting for something to happen, then he replayed it.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you in a minute. But yeah, well
We've
done.
got so many angles for the same
We
incident.
do. It's really good that we have all these angles that we can really penalise Owen for that, because that is awful.
Diabolical.
Yeah. Right. Well, thank you two for joining. Congratulations on your win in third, Owen and Jobbo. Thanks to Ashley for being here as well. It's been a long season, and thank you for covering the races where I have been dour slacker. We will, of course, be back in season 6 for GRL on the new game on F124, but that will be in about a month's time or so. So you've got the Euros before you've got GRL back. So I hope you're all looking forward to that. But in the meantime, enjoy your month. Enjoy these summer weeks that are upcoming with the lovely weather that we hopefully will get. And we will see you when GRL returns on F124 for season 6 and for all the bells and whistles that it will bring.